Happy St. Patty's Day! Every year, here at the Fireside Tales, we have made it a tradition to tell a story about Ireland. And I will confess that the time to tell the story was on the actual day. And in fact, it was one of my uploading days. So what happened? Well, to tell the truth, I don't exactly know. For some reason, YouTube kept rejecting the video. And I don't want you all to get the wrong idea here. I'm not even particularly mad, but if you were wondering why there wasn't a video, there you go. But anyways, tonight's story is going to be about one of the most nastiest drunkards in Ireland. A man by the name of Stingy Jack, one that's gone into legends, and is quite popular among all the ghost tales. Now, Stingy Jack, was always causing a ruckus in his town. He was stealing chickens or throwing stones into windows. And the devil had a special place on his list just for him, and when the day arrived, he went out to the roadside, and he pretended to be a dead body lying there. And as Stingy Jack was coming along whistling and moving around drunkenly, he saw the body and he went over to examine it. And the moment he did, the devil leaped up and revealed himself. And Jack was quite frightened. He began bawling and asked the devil to please not take him yet. And finally, the devil agreed to take him down to the pub and that they could have one last drink. So they walked down, and when they came to the bar, Jack said that he hadn't brought any money with him, and if the devil had any. So the devil transformed himself into a coin. But the moment the devil fell onto the floor, Jack grabbed hold of the coin and threw it into his pocket. And as it so happens, there was a crucifix in there, so that the devil couldn't change himself back. So, well, of course, the Prince of Darkness began cursing and howling, but Jack refused to let him go, unless he promised him 10 extra years of life. So, finally, seeing no way around it, the devil complied, and Jack took him out. And so it was. For 10 years, Jack continued to cause ruckuses and throw stones at windows and steal chickens. And when the day finally arrived, the devil appeared, and the two of them were in an orchard. And the devil said that it was time to go. But Jack began bawling again, and asked the devil that at least he could grab that apple at the very top branch, because he hadn't been able to reach it, and he would like one last bite before he went down into hell. So the devil again complied, and he crawled up to the top of the tree, and he grabbed hold of the apple. But as he was trying to climb down, Jack ran and got some crucifix, and he threw them down below the tree, so that the devil wasn't able to get down. There was nowhere for him to go. So, of course, the Prince of Darkness began howling and cursing, and Jack just wouldn't agree to anything until finally the devil said that he would just not take his soul at all. So, finally, Jack removed the crucifixes, and the devil was allowed to go free. And Jack enjoyed a good life again of ruckuses and stealing chicken and throwing stones in windows, until finally his day arrived, and he went up to the pearly gates of heaven, and he saw St. Peter standing there with his big list, and he asked him to let old Stingy Jack in. But St. Peter refused. He told him that he had not lived a good life, and that they weren't going to allow him in, and that he would have to try hell instead. So, finally, Jack decided he had no other choice, and he went down into hell, only to find that the devil wouldn't allow him in there either. And Jack began to bawl, and asked the Prince of Darkness to at least be allowed to carry a light to guide him through the netherworld of the spirits. Well, the devil went and he grabbed the hottest ember he could find from hell and threw it at Jack, and said that he could carry that with him. So, finally, Jack went and he found a turnip and he carved it open and he put the ember inside it. And so, that is what he has been doing for all the remaining time, probably till the ends of eternity. He walks around in the netherworld with the light of the turnip with him. and people still claim to see him as a will-o'-the-wisp. And if you haven't been able to figure it out yet, that's really where Halloween comes from. The Irish would use potatoes and turnips, and when they came to the New World, they started using pumpkins. And that is how we get the jack-o'-lantern. But my time for telling stories is done. I have to get myself a drink of ale. I'll see you all around. Oh, and one more thing. Black Scorpion. Sunday. Now a news report from the Fireside Tales. Here recently, a group of sailors in Ireland discovered a island that consisted of a bunch of houses and a bunch of skeletons in those houses. They had never seen the island there before, and they couldn't explain why the skeletons were randomly in those rooms, and when they went back to town and came back, the entire island had disappeared. We believe that this might have been the very same place that the Thief Prince visited, confirming our belief that maybe the Thief Prince was close to Ireland when all these events happened, and that Death's Island is somewhere in that area, though we could never say for certain, but it is an interesting theory to ponder.